Every time you open your phone, someone is selling the exact same illusion: push-button passive income that makes you rich overnight. But if you have actually tried these methods, you know the reality looks a lot different. Most beginners just end up with failed stores, wasted weekends, and hundreds of dollars lost to platform fees and ads. The problem is friction. The average person trying to escape the rat race wants multiple streams of income, starting with zero capital, with zero audience, and no specialized tech skills. To navigate this, we have to establish one brutal but necessary rule for this entire breakdown. True passive income is never fast, and fast income is never passive. Chasing the myth of a passive cash machine when you do not have an existing financial foundation is essentially financial self-sabotage. It is the fastest way to drain what little savings you actually have. A few years ago, you could throw up a mediocre site and make a few bucks. Today, algorithmic shifts and total AI saturation have made the landscape completely unforgiving. This table highlights the gap between pitch and practice. Influencers promise low effort and rapid returns. The 2026 reality demands high ad costs, AI saturation, and existing audiences. Ignoring this makes these strategies mathematically incapable of turning a profit. The answer here is not to keep hunting for a secret untapped side hustle. The answer is auditing exactly which popular models are guaranteed to drain your time and which ones actually generate cash. Succeeding now means abandoning the search for a single magic bullet. Instead, you have to sequence your efforts and build a multi-step wealth architecture from the ground up. To figure out what actually works, we need a way to separate the viable businesses from the financial traps. Let's look at the data from 10 different side hustles I tested over the last 2 years. This scatter plot maps upfront capital versus income ceiling. Dropshipping and print on demand sit dead in the bottom right corner. Both fail due to brutal customer acquisition costs, fierce competition, and a strict requirement for a massive pre-existing audience. These models can function perfectly well as an extra monetization layer if you are an established creator with loyal followers. But as a starting point, they are dead ends. They are traps because they demand precisely the two things a beginner lacks: surplus capital to burn on testing and a captive audience ready to buy. Then there is a second category of traps. These are the models that require deep technical expertise or force you to compete directly against artificial intelligence. Looking back at our scatter plot, crypto trading sits in high-risk territory, while stock photography and surveys anchor the zero-return zone. Crypto trading is essentially gambling, rewarding only those with deep pockets and expert-level understanding. Meanwhile, AI generation has completely decimated the stock photography market, leaving average creators fighting over a few pennies per hour. Trying to out-trade financial whales or out-generate AI algorithms is a losing battle. Your time is worth drastically more than the fractions of a cent these platforms will ever pay you. While most models I tested resulted in a net loss, the final pivot to an AI-powered service model scaled to $14,000 in monthly revenue. The core function here is straightforward. You use AI tools to deliver premium content, marketing, and business services to small and medium businesses. The inputs are entirely accessible. By spending 20 to 25 hours a week, you can leverage affordable AI software to produce professional-grade work at a price point that undercuts traditional agencies. The upside is immediate. You generate cash flow with extraordinarily high profit margins, and you do not need any formal background in coding or graphic design to execute it. But keep in mind, while this model is highly lucrative and fast to start, it is strictly active client work. This is the funding mechanism for your wealth, not the final passive destination. To reach that passive destination, we look at models like YouTube automation, Amazon affiliates, and ghost commerce. But they all share a hidden cost of entry that gurus conveniently forget to mention. This graph maps true passive assets. The line stays flat at 0 for 6 months, inflecting upward exponentially around month 12. YouTube automation, Amazon niche sites, and ghost commerce all demand months of upfront effort and steep learning curves before profit. These passive layers are incredibly valuable once established, but it is practically impossible to survive that 6 to 12-month incubation period unless you have the active financial stability to cover your bills. So the strategy is not to pick between active and passive income. It is to combine them into one unified step-by-step blueprint. This architectural blueprint illustrates exactly how we build it. Notice the foundation is drawn first, heavily bolstered and clearly labeled as your active AI service business. If you are starting from absolute zero, 100% of your focus and energy must go into building this active foundation. Nothing else matters until you have cash coming in. The most fatal mistake beginners make is trying to build the passive roof before their active foundation is generating a reliable monthly baseline. Establishing that active foundation completely eliminates your financial panic. More importantly, it buys you the single most critical resource required for long-term wealth building: time. Once your AI service business successfully replaces your primary day job income, you hit a critical pivot point. It is time to shift from an active freelancer to a passive asset owner. Returning to our blueprint, we can now safely stack long-term assets on top of that active baseline. We add middle layers for Amazon niche sites and YouTube automation, then top it off with ghost commerce. You do this by artificially capping your client hours. Instead of taking on more service work, you redirect your surplus time and cash into constructing these passive layers. These layers act as compounding safety nets. Slowly, month by month, they start generating revenue independently of your daily labor. This multi-tiered approach creates true financial detachment. You evolve from someone merely trading hours for dollars into a diversified owner with multiple fail-safes. Relying purely on a single income source in the rapidly shifting digital economy of 2026 is dangerously fragile. But when you have a completed wealth architecture spanning service work, affiliate sites, and digital assets, an algorithm change or a lost client cannot ruin you. You have absolute resilience. Ignore the fake passive income traps. Aggressively build your active foundation today and systematically stack your way to